Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping online coaches monetize their life's work and scale their businesses to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker Coaching Funnel, Lindsay Anderson.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsay Anderson, your go-to expert for helping you grow a profitable coaching business. And I'm pretty excited about today's episode because we're talking about two of my very favorite marketing strategies, and that is launches, where you hold this big 5-day workshop, you get everybody excited, you have an open and a close cart, and you enroll a lot of individuals into your program. We're going to be talking about launches. Love launches. We're also going to be talking about another strategy that I discuss a lot here on the Millionaire Maker Show, and that is the invite-only event strategy. This webinar that you create and give on rinse and repeat to social media followers, people in your Facebook group, people that you meet when you're out networking. You have this IO event on the books and you give it rinse and repeat. It sets you up as an expert. These two marketing assets used together in your coaching business can really help you scale your coaching business with ease. The ease part is so important because when it comes to marketing, many times, and this is one of the biggest mistakes coaches make, is they throw spaghetti at the wall marketing technique. They try a webinar or a launch and it doesn't work. So they go back and they just rewrite the whole thing when in reality, these marketing assets, marketing your program, creating masterclasses, webinars, and challenges, it is just like when you're sitting down to play the piano and learning a new song. The first time you actually play the song, it's not going to sound that good. And the same goes for these kind of marketing assets. So today I'm going to be describing what each of those are, as well as when to use each and kind of the difference between them. I love this topic. It's really these two things are how I've grown my coaching business and how I teach those and mentor those and do done for you work for those coaches who also want to build their coaching businesses. So before I hop into that, my next workshop is coming up and you do not want to miss this. You're going to head over to fillyourcoachingprograms.live and get signed up. We're getting started on September 18th. It is a 5-day workshop. And honestly, if you're trying to grow a coaching business, you've got to show up to this because I will tell you exactly how to do that step by step. We're focusing on my simple strategy for consistently enrolling clients into your high-ticket coaching program from social media, a step-by-step guide to do just that. Social media is key to growing your coaching business. Take that from me, somebody who has been in the digital marketing industry for 20 years. I know SEO, I know paid ads, I know relationship marketing and affiliate marketing, and really the easiest way to build a profitable coaching business is through social media. And I'll be walking you through my strategy, step-by-step strategy, starting live September 18th. Go to fillyourcoachingprograms.live. It's very interactive. It's an amazing experience. You are going to learn something there, regardless of where you are in your coaching business. I am an expert, so I look forward to seeing you there. So let's hop into today's topic, which is launches and IO events. First of all, let's talk about launches. Launches are a 5-day event, and the whole principle is that when people spend 5 days with you, that know, like, and trust factor is really able to go out the roof. And the beautiful part about a launch is that it's your cold audience, people that don't know you, that you are advertising this launch, they're coming in on this launch, and your warm audience coming in, people who already know you. You bring them all together for this beautiful mix of a warm and a cold audience, people building community, people who have coached with you. They're doing shout outs about how awesome you are, and they're helping warm up that cold audience. So then you teach over the course of 5 days and you give people a lot of aha moments. But it's also really important that while you're giving these aha moments, that you're opening a lot of questions for them. And that's really how you sell coaching through a launch. You can't answer all of their questions about their topic because then they'll just leave the launch. And that's when you end up with people being like, hey, Lindsay, I'd love to coach with you, but you've given me so much in these past 5 days. I already have a huge to-do list. So you want to make sure that the content going into that launch, you are saying aha to some things, but you're opening more questions than you're actually answering. So you do that over the course of 5 days. Another thing that makes launches so incredibly effective is then you have an open cart and a closed cart. It's really hard to circumnavigate Mr. Ego and get these individuals to pull their wallets out to invest in your coaching business. So add anything you can do to help circumnavigate the ego because the ego knows, hey, this coaching program is going to make me do some hard things. It's going to make me go from point A to point B. And like, I don't want to change. The ego doesn't want to change. And so that's why selling transformational coaching is a real skill. And that's why you need an expert like myself, because it's not like selling a widget. You're fighting against the ego. So when you have that closed cart, it really helps people make that decision. And the way that I do launches is I teach over the course for 5 days. I make an application invite on Wednesday and on Thursday and on Friday, and I'm allowing replays to go all the way through the next Tuesday, where I give 2 more bonus days. But we really start getting enrollment calls starting on Wednesday, so I can start talking to people on these enrollment calls as we go through the launch. And, that is something to note, both in my launch strategy as well as my invite only event strategy. I don't sell a program. Where you're going to have the best results is if you get people on an enrollment call, you talk to them, you understand where they are, what their problems are, and then you create a bespoke solution for them that meets them where they're at. Maybe they're a good fit for your group coaching, then prescribe them that. But maybe they're a better one-on-one client, then prescribe them that. And, when you set up these launches and an IO event to just sell a program, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity to coach people in a place where they want to meet. If you're saying, go hit the button, sign up for my coaching program, you are missing out on a lot of sales for all the hard work that you put into your launch. So especially now in 2023, there are a lot of coaches and you are competing with a lot of people. And the advent of ChatGPT makes it even more difficult to market your coaching programs. And so listen to the podcast, listen to what I'm saying here, get on the enrollment calls with these individuals and prescribe them the very best coaching solution. So that is what a launch is. The best part about launches are you can make a lot of money when you do a launch. This is when you can make 6-7 figures on a launch because of how effective they are at closing coaching clients. When you teach over the course of 5 days, it positions you as an expert. It allows people to get a real insight on how you coach, and you can give a lot of really valuable content. And then, of course, that open and close cart situation is really, really valuable. So that is a launch. You do that publicly, you run ads, you email your list, you're DMing people to invite them. You really are pulling out all the stops to really focus in those marketing efforts so you can get the biggest bang for your buck. Now, I do that 3 times a year. Take a note. 3 times a year is about how much a coach can launch because that warm audience gets really worn out. And they say, oh, Lindsay, well, you're giving that workshop again. I just came 3 months ago. you want to kind of stretch that out and put some other marketing initiatives, specifically my invite only event strategy, in the mix so you can enroll coaching clients in between launches. So that's a launch. Let's talk now about my favorite strategy, invite only events. And this basically what an invite only event is. This is a masterclass. It's about 50 minutes. It positions you as an expert. And the layout is you do a mindset warm up and you go in with 3 of their biggest obstacles that your clients are facing. You give one tip to solve each of those problems. And then that final problem you say, and I've answered this one pretty broadly, but I can answer it for you based on your specific problems or your specific situation if you get on an enrollment call with me. And this thing is rinse and repeat. And you're giving it, I give mine every single week, sometimes twice a week, depending on how much traffic that we are getting and how many people RSVP. Because one of the beautiful things about an invite only event is that it works on intimacy. You don't want more than 20 people there. You want to create an intimate environment where people are on camera and that you can actually relate to them and respond to comments. And this is awesome because when we're talking about a launch, you want hundreds of people there, right? Like you want a lot of people there. But an invite only event takes all that pressure off and you just invite people to this webinar. You guide them through this process I just lined out, and then you invite people to an enrollment call. And this goes for, and you send out invites. People come because you're reaching out and saying, hey, I have a link to a masterclass I'm giving on Thursday. Or you don't even say on Thursday. You say, for this masterclass called this, if you'd like a link, let me know. And then you engage in a conversation. And so instead of your show up rates, like they are on a launch being 10% or less, then your show up rates, which is so essential when it comes to selling coaching on an invite only event, becomes about 50%. And more people get on a call because of this intimate setting and the way you're really delivering the content. So that is the definition of an IO event. The benefits are you don't need a big audience. It sets you up as an expert. You really are able to take an iterative approach to the strategy here so that you can keep improving upon your content every time, and it helps you really craft a awesome marketing asset that you can just pull out of your back pocket and use. It takes so much time to craft marketing. It takes 20 times longer to craft highly effective marketing. And so in order to add this ease to your business and be able to count on growing your business and having consistent leads that fills your coaching programs, you really need to invest in marketing, meaning processes, rinse and repeat, numbers you can count on. Let me give you an example on this iterative approach and how valuable it is. So for an IO event, and I guide people through this in my content that converts program. That is my group coaching program where I teach hundreds of coaches how to create highly engaging social media content that will attract their perfect clients and how to enroll those clients off of social media and into their coaching program. So my content that converts program is what we do is we have people go out and they have their IO event. And then when they show up to a coaching call, we ask them the following things so that we know where to improve. We say, okay, how many people RSVP'd? How many people showed up? How many people got on an enrollment call? How many people enrolled? And when we have these very important metrics lined out, and a coaching student comes to me, I am able to know what is going wrong in that IO event. For example, if they said, yeah, nobody RSVP'd, then I would say there's a problem with your title because really the other benefit of an invite-only event is it's low tech. This thing is on Zoom. You do not want people to feel like they are a cog in the wheel of your coaching business, so you host it on Zoom. And there's no landing page. I use a piece of software called Ad Event, which doesn't look like super techy. It just gets it on their Google Calendar and allows us to know who has RSVP'd. That's what I send to them when they say, yes, I want to come to an invite-only event. It's really about the title at that point. And so if no one's coming, I know we need to work on your title. Now, if people come, but nobody gets on an enrollment call, then I know you've got a problem with your sales pitch. You are not spending long enough inviting people to that enrollment call or making that enrollment call. And of course, you're not going to call it an enrollment call. You're going to call it a lead gen breakthrough session, something along these lines. Go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, what is a good title I could name my breakthrough call for my coaching business? So you could definitely do that, but don't name it an enrollment call between me and you. I'm going to call it an enrollment call because that's what it is, okay? But of course, you put a marketing slant on it. However, if you're not spending 5 minutes telling them that you have a strategy on this call and that you're not just inviting them to a call just to chat and sell to them, then you'll get more enrollment calls. And then, of course, if they don't enroll anybody off of that call, then I know likely the problem is how you're handling those enrollment calls. And there's a real strategy to that too that I teach in Content That Converts. So instead of a coaching student coming to me and saying, oh, hey, Lindsay, nobody enrolled that IO event, like I give up. Instead, we say, come to me with these numbers so we can actually start to figure out where we can tweak, where we can iterate, and where we can really allow you to have this marketing asset that will serve you for years to come because it really sets you up as an expert. I'm not saying you're not going to change it, but overall, you have a avatar, a client that you are talking to, your perfect client. You know what those 3 biggest problems are. You're bringing them up in the webinar, and it really gets people to feel like, oh my gosh, Lindsay really has my number. How did she know that about me? I'm sure that her coaching program can really allow change and transformation and work for me. So let's be clear about when to use each of these 2 powerful strategies, the launch and the invite-only event. You're going to want to be using the launch 3 times a year in your coaching business. Not only does a launch allow you to make a lot of money, make a lot of program sales, but it also really builds your audience. When you're out there on social media and you're advertising this workshop, it gets shared and it's a reason for people to come. And so you can really build your audience utilizing the launch strategy, and you do that 3 times a year. Whereas an invite only event, because it is more intimate, it's invite only. You're only inviting like new people so that people on social media, people on your email list, they're not thinking Lindsay is always advertising. It allows you to always create a workshop call out or something for people to come to that that inflection point of the purchase from like social media in your coaching program without having to always publicly be mentioning this masterclass and for people to think, oh my gosh, she's giving that masterclass every single week. I'll just catch her next week. You definitely don't want that. And so that invite only event happens undercover. You're just inviting people in DMs primarily and at live events and those kind of things. And so you're using the invite only event to fill your coaching programs in between launches. And it's a lot of coaches who come to me in both the BAM agency, where we do done for you marketing for coaches, as well as my coaching programs, and they get real stuck on the revenue roller coaster. And this is what it looks like. They will put all their heart and soul into a launch. They'll make a bunch of money in January, and then they will spend 2 months servicing those clients, recovering from their launch, planning their next launch because they're not even rinsing and reusing the same launch. They're like redoing it all of the time. And then it's March again and they're out of money. And then it's time to do it all again in March. And so then you ramp back up and they're on this roller coaster. They're frantic. They don't have time for themselves. It often leaves them wondering, why am I doing this? This is so much work. And the key is the system, creating a system about it in your coaching business so you know what to expect. You are rinsing and reusing all of these effective marketing techniques and getting better at them. With the advent of the invite-only event, then January, basically, after you recover, you should take a week off after your launch, right? After that, every single Thursday, you're hosting an invite-only event. And guess who you're inviting? Guess who you're inviting to that invite-only event? Let me tell you. Because you just had a launch and only 10%-ish of those individuals actually showed up, were fully engaged, heard your sales pitch, were there, okay, for like the 5 days, now you have 90% of your audience that you do reach out to. Hey, thank you so much for signing up for X launch. You can engage in a conversation. Were you able to make any of the 5 days? And then depending on their answer, then voila, you say, oh, you know what? I actually am hosting a masterclass called this. If you'd like a free ticket, let me know. Now, of course, you're going to want to alter those messages based on your branding, based on your coaching business and how you want to handle it. But these conversations in DMs cannot be ignored. And also following up with 90% of the people that actually raised their hand wanting to come to your launch but couldn't make it for whatever reason, this IO event strategy will bring them in and you can start inviting those guys to your invite-only events, as well as your social media audience, as well as anybody you can invite to these IO events. Rinse and repeat. That has added so much ease to my coaching business. I know what the IO event is. At this point, I've given it 100 times. Russell Brunson, the creator of ClickFunnels, will say, as much as we love an evergreen webinar, which is a video of you giving a webinar like this, inviting to an enrollment call where you're not giving it live, even Russell Brunson will say, give it 100 times before you put it on evergreen. And I couldn't agree more, because you have to understand that with the intimacy, I am live, you are live, like that builds up the trust level so much on these webinars. Now, can you turn it evergreen? Sure, we do that for clients when it's time, but they are typically then they're doing something else marketing wise, and like we can put that one on evergreen. But for most people, you're just giving this IO event all the time, and you're filling in between launches. You're inviting all those old launch prospects. It just really works, and it makes the most out of any ad spend that you put into your launch and any Facebook group members that came in. So there you have it. That is what a launch is. That is what an IO event is, and how those two really work together to help you. Like, these two mechanisms are really how you can scale your coaching business and always rely on new audience members and enrolling more people into your coaching programs. Before I let you go, now don't forget my Fill Your Coaching Programs 5-day workshop is coming up, starting live on September 18th. Go to fillyourcoachingprograms.live and learn my simple system for consistently enrolling clients into your high-ticket coaching programs from social media. You definitely do not want to miss that. And thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you like it, please leave us a review. I really love the reviews out there, and I appreciate you taking the time to do so if you have found this podcast valuable. Until next time, I'm your host, Lindsay Anderson. Cheers to you and your success.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Maker Show with master business coach and creator of the Millionaire Maker Coaching Funnel, Lindsay Anderson. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.